Okay, so we are going to allow the panelists to share their thoughts on our final question, but we did have kind of two phases of our meeting, two means of gathering information, and one was to hear from experts, and the other was to just have some time to coalesce that information and to dialogue a little bit about it. So we'll be moving into the roundtables after this, but I did want to offer everybody on the panel an opportunity to just share. I think just given our time frame that we have and that we want to hear from a few people in the audience, their questions, maybe just share one or two ideas of what you think young people can do to respond to either the immediate need or the systematic challenge that we're discussing today. Okay.
I'm very fortunate at Friends of D. I work with a lot of schools in Pasadena area, and I'm very impressed by young people, especially the ones that come to the food pantry and then on their own come back. They come back to volunteer, they come back to do their Eagle Scout Award, Gold Award project, or I've had a student who's in high school who's just been helping just because he wants to. Continuing to expose students at young ages to this type of stuff, whether it's stack in the case of Friends of Deed in the food pantry, stocking shelves, and then having a talk about why that is helpful and what does that mean, and then begin addressing to the students that look, we're all the same. Some people just need assistance here or there, but when you get right down to it, we can have people walking amongst us that we would never know were in need or facing challenges. And so I think just the continued encouragement of students to get involved and introduce them to it. And the kids that are really into it, they're going to do it on their own too. You'll see it. They'll start to show it. And then just one last thing, Millie, that was awesome. You were outstanding. Thank you for sharing your story.
Putting my hat as a volunteer director, I can tell you that throughout the 25 years that I've been at MEN, I've seen the opportunities that MEN provides to children and anybody. I want to brag that our oldest volunteers is over 100, and doesn't want to admit it. And our youngest has been 6. Now we're more restrict because of safety, so little by little they're telling me, no, the age has to go, and then I move it down, and anyways. So I think it's very important to get children involved. The earlier, the better. So those that are fortunate to have a good income in their household, so that they appreciate what they have at home. So I encourage families to come during the Christmas program and do home visits. The parents with the children, and so the parents will do the visit, but the children will be observing everything that us as adults don't get to see.
We have
so
two
that,
families that do this from our school.
yay. I think it makes a big difference. So that they really get to appreciate what they have and learn to give back. And for those that are low income, it's very important for them to do these things too, because then they get to see that they're not the only ones in this situation, but they can still help others. So we encourage families to do home visits, families to come and store food, clothing, do distribution, and for those, I find out that most of you are educators. So if your school does not allow volunteer services, it's okay. You can bring somebody like Lupe, somebody like them, to give a presentation or their classroom and tell them how can they get involved. As family, as the school, drives, you name it, food drives, clothing drives. Not everybody has time, but everybody has a closet that we all need to clean, especially guys. Please clean up your closet. It's hard. We don't get male clothing. I don't know why, but anyways, Veronica will thank me for this one. Veronica's our clothing center manager. But it's true. We can all do something. Clean up our closets, donate it to anybody that is not selling it. I always say, men does not sell anything. We give it out to those that need it. So there's very many ways our kids can get involved.
You know, Marilyn and I started what we're doing, Stories from the Front Line, as a result of being fortunate enough to be around speakers like Millie, because it got under our skin, because I think the two things that I want to just briefly say is, one, make a safe place for our kids to share with each other and with their teachers, so that their secrets and the things that they're ashamed about can get shared, and they can start to learn that they're no different than anybody else, and that if you want, like what Lupe was saying, you know, Marilyn and I certainly can make some opportunities for you to have speakers come to your school. And I have humongous, I think that the future is here in a kid like Audrey. Audrey, right? I think that our children can teach us. I think that if Marilyn and I can get to enough kids, we can get supportive housing in every neighborhood, because then the kids can go home and then get their parents to learn. I think that that's the, and I'm gonna quickly turn over to you.
Before I share anything about the campaign, the Everyone in campaign, one thing I want to rave about young people is that young people, they get it. They know how to kind of process information that's going on, reflect on it, and act on it. So there's one thing that I really appreciate about young people today, and the generation that's coming in right now, is that one, they're able to kind of cut through all the noise as digital natives. You know, they know all this kind of confusion, noise, fake news, posts. They can cut through that. They can cut through BS and go to kind of the heart of the matter. I know that they're more motivated and engaged when stories are kind of front and center. So stories are powerful in motivating kids. So I'll stop right there. One story that I want to share about that specifically, we were at City Hall Council Chambers for a resolution that was about to pass. Our CEO showed up, and I was in charge of doing turnout of all these different organizations. Turnout was low, and I had about 50 to 75 signs for the Everyone in campaign. What are we going to do? And so we see this group of 50 high school students from Pacific Palisades Charter School come in for another reason. They sit down, I see their principal, and so I walk up to the principal and I said, we had a low turnout. Do you mind, would you be interested in helping us? What do you want us to do? Hold these signs and put them up in the air when it's our turn? So I was like, that's a big ask. I don't think she's going to do it. She said, oh yeah, they know a lot about homelessness. When I started passing them out, the students asked me, oh, is this about Proposition HHH and Measure H? About a couple billion, right, in housing services? How did you know this?
In the Palisades.
Yeah, how do you know about this? So I think there's a power in what we think our kids are thinking about to what they're really concerned about. Because I think just this generation that's coming through, whatever they're called, Generation Y, Generation Z,
All the alpha.
Start with A.
they're very concerned about kind of global and local issues. Again, they kind of cut through the noise. They want to participate in a meaningful way, and so providing that opportunity to access is so critical. So now, kind of a plug to the Everyone In campaign, and I'll do it very briefly. Everyone In is a powerful coalition of folks that embrace the challenge of ending homelessness across LA County. When I say ending, I could get some skeptical thoughts of like, well, we're never going to end it, and poverty will always be with us. But is there a chance that we could do, if we work together with all the resources that are here, because the money is there, and the organizations and the solutions are proven and they're there, if we work together, can we make homelessness a rare, non-recurring thing? Is that possible? Something that's brief, something that if someone enters homelessness, they get out right away. And we think that's possible. So what we're doing, and I think this is going to be something interesting to educators and to youth, is that we're doing kind of a three-pronged strategy of communications, basically telling the story, breaking stereotypes of showing all these different stories of homelessness. Is not just one character, it's not one big monolith, but it's 57,794 different stories of people experiencing homelessness, whether they have mental and disabled and physical conditions, to folks who are just young parents with a kid who just need rent, right? So that's kind of that spectrum. We do engagement, like we said, the engagement pop-ups that we're doing across the county. Both the pop-ups that we're going to have either in parks or churches or art galleries, to also storytelling. How do we tell the stories of folks with lived experience, but also tell the stories of folks who are outreach workers, service providers, even bureaucrats that we might say like, oh, the person with the tie, you know, I don't want to hear them talk. But they also have a story of why they've been doing that work for the last 35 years. And they'll cry every time they think about what got them in the work in the first place. So we need to hear those stories so that way we feel moved and feel connected to the story, not just of me, of you, but the story of us and how we can really make a difference if we really work and act together. And last, and I know this is long, but last part is we want to put some legs to it. So it's not just the bells and whistles of a nice website and a mobile device. It's about organizers on the ground, and their main goal is how do we build supportive housing, not shelter, but permanent housing where if someone goes into supportive housing, they are no longer homeless. Shelters, if you go into shelter, you're going in and out, it closes, you go back, you're still homeless. But when you're in supportive housing with the services baked inside, built inside, you're no longer homeless. And Millie could say, I am formerly homeless. I am a resident, I'm a tenant of this apartment. And this is where I live, this is my home. So we're trying to build more of those. But with that, it's political. So some people want it, a lot of people don't. But we believe that more people want it than the people that don't, that oppose it. So we want to bring those people out. And young people is where it starts.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the three, you said 3 problems?
I can say it.
Okay.
Because I was going to say we should just change 5 stages to that. It's communication, engagement, and organizing, but I like legs. No, and organizing.
Thank you.
And so thank you all for being here. I think I'm going to say thank you now because I know there might be a few questions and we'll probably have room for maybe 2 or 3, but Millie can be included in that. I'm going to offer my seat to Millie so she can be a part of that. And if there's a few questions from the audience, and if you could just another reminder is as best as you can, brevity, so that, because we do have another phase where we need to kind of like prepare and plan with what we're going to do with this information.